Hello everyone, and today in this video we are going to see how to deploy Cloudflare tunnels in a basic configuration. So before deploying the Cloudflare tunnel, we should know why Cloudflare tunnel is used. So we can use Cloudflare tunnels in different scenarios, such as hosting our home services to the internet side, or when there is a NAT connection in the internet side, or when your ISP is using NAT connection and does not give you a public IP address. So generally for hosting services on the public side, you have to create a port forwarding rule in your router side and forward it to the service which you want to expose. So this means that you have to open that ports to the internet, and for this to work you need to have a public IP address from your ISP, as if you have a NAT connection then you can't access it from the internet side even if you port forward it. So by using Cloudflare tunnel, it creates a reverse connection to the Cloudflare servers and thus allows you to access the services from the internet side using Cloudflare servers. So the request gets forwarded to the Cloudflare servers, and the Cloudflare servers fetch the data from your Cloudflare tunnel side. So this way you can access your services from the outside. So Cloudflare tunnel is hosted on your LAN side or your local area network side, and it can either be hosted on a separate machine on the network, or you can host it on the same machine as the machine running the services which you want to expose. So for example, in this case I am using a server 1, and here in the server 1 the Cloudflare tunnel is installed and running on the same machine on which I am running the service portainer. So if I want to expose the portainer service to the internet, I can do that by using Cloudflare tunnel. So as this is a basic example and basic guide, so there would be some things left like securing via VLANs and other security aspects. So this would just be a basic example on how it will work, and a video would be coming soon which will go in depth on securing your network using VLANs in the Cloudflare tunnel side also. So I do not recommend you to use this method in your production servers, as this method is not secure and it is having severe vulnerabilities and flaws. So this is just for testing purposes, as the networks are not isolated from each other. Also, I do not recommend you to expose your portainer or any other management interface on the internet side, as it is risky. So keeping these things in mind, let's go to the tutorial. So to follow this tutorial, you would need to have a Cloudflare account and a domain name present and bought by you. So you would also need to have this domain name pointed to the Cloudflare's name servers, so that Cloudflare can manage the DNS records for this domain. So we would be using the Cloudflare tunnels, thus we would require the name servers to be changed. So if you have a Cloudflare account, just log in into it. Now your dashboard of Cloudflare would look something like this, and here in the dashboard you can see the domain names if you linked there already, or you can just go to the domain registration and manage or register domain or transfer the domains from any other registrar. So you would need to check regarding this by yourself. So once you have a domain name and registered to Cloudflare or pointing to the Cloudflare's name servers, it would be listed here. So just go on to the zero trust option, and here you just go to the networks option. Now here in the networks, select the tunnel option. Now we are going to create a Cloudflare tunnel here, so just click on create a tunnel option and select the Cloudflare option and click on next. Now just name this tunnel any name which you can remember and use to identify later on. Now after saving the tunnel, the tunnel has been created and you need to deploy it on your machine. So you could either deploy it on the local machine on which you are running the services, or you could use a different machine, but then you will need to allow the access from one machine to another in your firewall settings. So if generally they are in the same VLAN and it is a home network, then it would be allowed for devices on the same network to communicate with each other, but check this on your side also. So in our case, we are going to deploy it on the same machine as on which we are running the services. So don't do this in the production environment, and this is just a basic tutorial for you to understand and just get up started. So as this is not safe, and if any breach is there, your data could get compromised. Also, you shouldn't expose the management interface of your services on the website. So just use a VPN or something else like that. So just keep that in mind. Now click on the Docker option here and just copy this command to your notepad or keep it somewhere else. Now we would create a Docker Compose file to run this Cloudflare tunnel, and we are using Docker Compose as it makes organization easy of the services and the applications that we are running on the machine. So it would reduce your clutter on the machine directly, and you can identify which applications or services are running or installed. So you won't need to have to reinstall the OS later on after some months because of clutter issues. So I have pasted this command in the notepad, and I will just copy this token ID and would create it as an environment variable in the Docker Compose so that it remains safe. Now we would also need the Docker Compose to run the Cloudflare tunnel token. So just open my GitHub page linked in the description below and copy the Docker Compose command from there. Now we will create a folder for Cloudflare tunnel and paste the Docker Compose file there. Now here in the directory we will create the Docker Compose file. Now just copy the Docker Compose commands from my GitHub page and paste them here. So it would look something like this. Now here you just copy the token which was given to you by Cloudflare and just paste it here. So here just copy the token and paste it in the SSH window. So it would look something like this. Now save it. Now you would need to create a network in Docker named as proxy for the Cloudflare tunnel to communicate with the other containers, and you would need to add this network to other containers also for communication. So if you are running a reverse proxy such as Traefik, then you can add the Traefik reverse proxy to this network and rest Traefik will handle. Or if you are not doing that, then you can add it into each of the services. But I prefer the Traefik root option as you can manage the security there. So just save it and create a Docker network. So the Docker network proxy was already created, so I didn't need to do that. So now you can run the Cloudflare tunnel. So the tunnel has been created and it is running. Now you can check and verify this on the Cloudflare dashboard. So you can see here the connector is listed and it is connected to the Cloudflare servers. Now just click on next, and here you can configure your services. Before doing that, you would need to add the network of proxy to your service. So for example, I will add this network in the portainer service. So I will add the Docker network here. So in this machine I am running portainer also and Traefik also. So Traefik is the reverse proxy. So I can either directly add the Traefik reverse proxy to this network, or I can run each service to the Cloudflare tunnel network. So first I will show how to run directly the service, then I will show you how to run through the Traefik reverse proxy. So the safe option would be to run through the Traefik reverse proxy, as you can run IDS and IPS on that. So as this is a simple tutorial, we are not doing that, and here we would just run the portainer service first. Now here in the portainer Docker compose, here the network is already added as proxy. So as this is the same network which I have created in an earlier tutorial of Traefik reverse proxy deployment, so this is already there, but it is not safe for the services to be on the same network as the Cloudflare tunnel. So if your Cloudflare tunnel gets compromised or the dashboard gets compromised and somebody changes the service URL, then they may be able to access the service directly bypassing the Traefik reverse proxy. So in Traefik reverse proxy you could have added authentication layer also, but then it would be bypassed in case of breach. So just change the network to something else. So now in this tutorial we would change the Cloudflare tunnel network to the proxy one and the local network to something else. So here we would add another network. So here I have added another network named as local, and I would change this here in the labels also. So the Traefik reverse proxy and the portainer service would communicate on the local network now, and the proxy network would be communicating with the Cloudflare tunnel and the service, and we would add the network here also. Now we are creating the local network also, as we are adding a new network and it has not been created. So the local network has been created, and for now this service is running on the Cloudflare tunnel network. So we can add the URL and try to access it now. So as we are running in the Docker networks, then we don't even need to expose the service to the host also. So there is no need for the ports option in the Docker compose file of the service. Now we would change the Cloudflare dashboard settings, and here we would add the subdomain as portainer or portainer test, and we would specify the domain, and here in the service type we would set it to HTTP, as we are not running the reverse proxy currently and the service is directly handling the requests. And here in the URL we would specify the URL of the service, or we can specify it via DNS name as they are on the same network. So we would specify the container name here, and we would specify the port also as 9000. Now you can save the tunnel. So the tunnel is saved now and it is showing here as healthy and active now. So you can try to go to this domain name which you have configured. So as you can see, the portainer dashboard is loading here and it is working now from the internet side. So This way you can configure the Cloudflare tunnel to make your services accessible from the internet side. And also, as you can see in the URL, your service is secure also from the HTTPS side, and it is having a valid certificate. Now you can do the same with the Traefik reverse proxy also, and you can add the request there also. So go back to the SSH terminal. Here you will just go to the Traefik reverse proxy compose. And here in the compose file, you would change the network to the new one. So in this way you can add the Cloudflare tunnel network to the Traefik reverse proxy also, and you can redirect the request directly to the Traefik reverse proxy. Now save it and exit. So it is reconfiguring it again and it is done. Now just go to the web browser again, and going to the Cloudflare dashboard, you have to make some changes. Go to the tunnel name, click on configure, and select the public host name option. And here just edit the host name option and change the service to Traefik. So we are specifying the container name here as just before, and here we are specifying the type as HTTPS, as this is running with HTTPS certificate by the reverse proxy. And here in the TLS setting, we will just set it to no TLS verify, and here we will also enable the HTTP2 connection. Now we are specifying the no TLS verify option, as the certificate name is little bit different from the domain requested, so it is not applying the wildcard certificate, so we are using the no TLS verify option for now. Now save it, and now you can check it again. Okay, so you would need to match the host name in the Traefik configuration also to make it work. So you would change it in Traefik reverse proxy also in the portainer compose file. Now here in the configuration, you just change the expected host name to the desired one. So now the Traefik reverse proxy will serve the request on the portainer test subdomain. So save it and rerun the service. So the service has been recreated now, and check it again. And as you can see, the service is running fine now, and it is working through the Traefik reverse proxy now. So in this way you can configure Cloudflare tunnels to work with your services and expose them to the internet. So thank you for watching, and if you have any comments or suggestions, just comment them down below.